a week in order to pay your fuel bill. I'm sorry, but that's just a handout, and that smacks of socialism, Rose. So the answer is no.
Well, exactly. And this is how it seems to me this climate's being created, where they are now taking it directly from us, not through tax credits, libraries. And of course, then you get good people forming euphemisms, to mitigate hunger. Food banks, that's all right then.
Right.
It's absolutely unlimited.
Well,
because
Smug,
somehow the British people just sort of sit here.
I know. Smug actually said that food banks were heartening.
I don't know anything.
Heartening, he said. That the man who wears his Christianity on his sleeve, or uses it as some sort of deflector shield.
Well, quite. I mean, I didn't know he was pretending. He's obviously not a Christian, but he's pretending to be a Christian.
Well, he doesn't seem to do anything that Jesus would do in any given situation. But you can't persuade people that they're not actually doing the work of God.
Well, how could they possibly think they were doing the work of God?
Beats me. Beats me.
Every word they utter is utter drivel. I mean, listen to the stuff that you've just repeated about half an hour ago. That it's random. They just come out, spew this drivel out. It's completely random. It's as random as these sums.
It is.
And I texted Darren about 2 weeks ago saying that it was like the tithes of the, in the Middle Ages when the king's men went round, any sum that he felt he wanted to take, they took from these peasants. It's the same thing. And I said, it'll be 8,000. And Darren read this very well and then said, well, 8,000 seems a bit excessive, but then on the other hand, we thought 4,000 was.
And then we hear in the news today that you are completely correct in every respect.
Yes. What do we do? Just all commit suicide?
Rose, what we'll do is what the British people always do in such circumstances. We'll say, oh, well,
never mind.
Mustn't grumble.
Mustn't grumble.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But we don't want to complain and we don't want to make a fuss because we know our place.
Speak for yourself, mate. Just get me near one of these people.
Uh-oh.
I mean, they really are appalling. They're the sort of people Truss and Sunak. You wouldn't have them over the threshold, would you?
Rose, 43% of the people that actually could be bothered to go out and vote voted for these very people and have been yelling at me at great volume ever since that they knew what they were voting for.
Well, you know why, don't you? Education system. We haven't got a proper education system. They haven't learnt to think.
Well, it's certainly of benefit to those that want to draw the wool over your eyes that we have a population, like Donald Trump said.
I love the poorly educated.
He loves the poorly educated. They're his fans.
Yes, I know, darling.
And what happens there is also what happens here, because I think the respective parties, the Republicans and the Conservatives, are paid for by the same few people. Yes. They're probably having little chats on the phone. The Republicans and the Conservatives. Yeah, they'll be talking on WhatsApp on burner phones.
Yes. I don't go in for all that stuff.
Oh, well, that's your first mistake, Rose. You want to cover your tracks. Go off grid, Rose. They're coming for you. All right, cheers, my dear.
I am off it.
All right, gotta go. Thanks a lot. 0345 6060 973. Michaela text, reforming the system. Only those between the ages of 6 to 12 years old can vote. Well, that's not such a bad idea. I mean, adults have had their chance and they blew it. Over and over and over again, we keep making a stupid mistake. Only those between the ages of 6 and 12 years old can vote. Great. I'm all for that. Let's give it a go. Why not? I mean, when the Liz pot actually went to, and it happened with you know who as well.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
They make the big mistake of going into a school for a photo op, and they sit around a table with some specially chosen children. The teachers will fret for weeks probably trying to select the least obstreperous child. And they put them with a politician, and you can't stop the child saying what is on their mind. which is usually the unvarnished truth. And when the Lizbot was sitting there trying to, but I don't know what she was trying to do, just look good for the cameras, and the kids were just a prop. She thought she could, treat them with the same disdain that she treats other adults. But the kids weren't having it. After about 10 seconds, one of them said, "This is so awkward." Well, yeah, it's her.
We have never had it so good.
Captain Awkward. So, yes, let's give it a go. Only those between the ages of 6 and 12 can have a vote. Kelly says, we should have avoided the impending energy crisis if we had been more proactive. We could have bottled all the hot air spattered by Fishy and the Lizbot over the course of the leadership contest, and that would have kept us warm for the next couple of winters. Well, that's a good point.
Hot air. H-O-T-A-I-R.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbot.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
Yes, there's precious little left to laugh about. It's all we've got left, and there ain't much around. 0345 6060 973. Cliff says, people should storm Parliament. Well, let's not get carried away. Ben says, I watched the rise of the Nazis. So here we go. I watched the rise of the Nazis this week, and what is happening now is strikingly similar to 1930s Germany. What the hell did the Tories have to do to finally get the boot? Says Ben. Admit that Brexit was a disaster. I think that will do it. But as long as they're still trying to get Brexit done, then we don't want Ramonas taking it away from us. No! Let's save Brexit. How's it going, by the way?
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Brixton. Hello, Delroy.
Hello, Nick.
Delroy.
I just thought I'd add to your comment about Morecambe and Wise not being particularly funny in terms of comedy duos from historical comedy. And it suddenly occurred to me that there is actually a comedy duo. I accidentally stuck a CD in my machine the other day. Do you remember Derek and Clive?
I knew you were going to say that. Derek and Clive live, yeah.
And the second album, Derek and Clive Come Again, I highly recommend. If you want the theatre of the absurd in these straight and nutty times, go listen to that, because that just take you away from all this craziness in a way that will actually make you laugh. And just for half an hour, 20 minutes per side or whatever, it is genuinely obscene. Yeah. You couldn't get away with it now. And I have to be careful. I can't do any
I'll tell you what, Delroy, I've got a copy of it right now. Let's play it in full on the air.
Warning.
Oh, okay then. Maybe not. All right, thanks a lot, Delroy. 0345 6060 973. What's the worst job you've ever had, by the way? Don't tell me. Tony says, if this were New Delhi, there would be 10 million people in the streets in protest. Where is the gumption of the people in the UK? Well, we're not well known for our gumption. We're known for our stiff upper lip, as in our constipated, emotional mean. Mustn't grumble, we say, after having grumbled constantly for 25 hours straight. Faytex, on a side note, I think my pharmacy has run out of the drug that I take. So has the rest of the country. The pharmacist just shrugged. Is this Brexit Britain? Yes, says Faye. Bill says it will be all about voter suppression. IDs to vote, but look how difficult it is now, B passports and driving licenses. I sort of get what you're saying, but yes. Yeah, next time around, they are going to do absolutely everything in their considerable power to make sure that they hold on to power. I hate that there was two uses of the word power in the same sentence, but I couldn't get around it. They're going to be following the Republican playbook, which is to try to suppress the vote for the opposite parties. And they will be doing it in any way they can. I would not be surprised if they announce that because of the dire straits of the economy of this country, they're going to have to close a lot of polling stations. So you're going to have to travel further. These may coincidentally be in areas that are likely to vote for a party that's not the Conservatives. Now, would anybody like to take a bet that that's not going to happen? That whole, you have to present a photo ID in order to vote. Same thing. It's solving a problem that does not exist. So if the problem doesn't exist, then why are they doing it? Who is most likely not to have a photo ID? What demographic? The demographic that is poor. Now, this may actually work out badly for them because last time around, the poorest among us were most likely to vote Conservative rather than any other category. The better off you were, the more likely you were to vote Labour. I don't think maybe they've quite thought that out. If they're still going to be going on Brexit, which they will, we're trying to get Brexit done. We're almost there. Almost at the sunny uplands, just keep believing. And so everybody that voted for Brexit last time around will vote for the Conservative Party this coming general election. They will, because they don't want to lose hope and they don't want to lose face. So if that's the case, if that's who they're going for, then that is a group of people who are less likely to have a photo ID. Because it's the poorest and the oldest that voted for the Tories last time around and who voted for Brexit. It's the same people. But in the Tories' minds, of course, they're still playing to the well-off, who are less likely, weirdly, now to vote Tory. But that's not. I think the message hasn't actually got through to them because they're still enacting policies for the benefit of the well-off. But I guess it's the well-off who fund them. So, that's not going to end anytime soon. God, what a mess, eh? It's just staggering. But, no end of stuff to talk about. It's not like it's boring. It's infuriating, but it's not boring. Not yet. Blackburn. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Nick. Right, got a nice idea for you. You know Priti Patel's idea with the asylum seekers?
The asylum seekers?
Yes. Yeah. Well, instead of sending the asylum seekers to Rwanda, we're going to have a lot of non-bill payers, not going to pay their energy bills or can't pay their energy bills.
Right.
Well, why not send them for a 6-month holiday to Rwanda? They'll run up no gas bill and they won't die of hypothermia. Excellent
idea, Paul.
I think it's brilliant. On a bit more serious note, can I mention something else? It really needs to be put out there. Renewable energy. Renewable
energy, yes.
Firms are now producing renewable electricity, and they're advertising it 100% renewable energy.
Yes.
Well, actually, that is still being charged at the price of gas-generated energy.
Right.
And I think a lot of pressure needs putting on government to make sure that renewable energy is priced at what it should be, which, according to what I've looked up, should be about 60% cheaper. It's just like selling a plastic ring and telling someone it's gold. It's absolute scam. And how are they getting away with it?
Well, that sounds like communist talk, Paul. You're not a communist, are you?
I don't care whether I am. I just want the best for the people and all the people, not just the rich.
Right, that sounds like dangerous socialist talk, Paul.
Okay.
But I'll take it on board. All right, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. In October, when 24 million households will be hammered by a huge hike in gas and electricity boss, the energy boss Linda Cook is looking forward to a £770,000 payday.
What?
That is on top of her wage. Linda Cook, CEO of North Sea oil and gas producer Harbour Energy, made almost £6 million in pay and perks last year. £6 million in 1 year. The £770,000 adds to a similar sum she was entitled to in May. Dear listener, did you get 2 £770,000 bonuses this year? I'll assume the answer is no. And that is because you have failed to become the chief executive officer of a company that provides something that people can't do without. You only have yourself to blame. Linda Cook, CEO of North Sea oil and gas producer Harbour Energy, is benefiting from an £84 million interim dividend announced by Harbour Energy this week as profits rose 1,100%. Their profits rose 1,100%. What kind of a company has a 1,100% increase in its profits in 1 year? I mean, even the mafia don't increase their profits like that.
Absolutely.
That company made £1.3 billion in the first half of 2022. That's 6 months. 6 months from a product that's actively ruining the planet, our only home. 1.3 billion. It's like we're setting fire to our house to keep off the cold. And we'll think about what to do after the embers have burned out later. You know, not now, later.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
All the companies that are destroying the only home that we've got are making profits so huge that the pound signs in their eyes mean that they will never stop. In the same 6-month period, British gas owner Centrica made 1.3 billion in 6 months. BP, 12 billion. Shell, 17 billion, making a grand total of 31 billion pounds for their combined half-year profits. Profits, clear money after tax. Meanwhile, droughts are happening where they haven't happened before. Floods are happening where they haven't happened before. The poles are thawing, glaciers melting, sea levels rising, storms are getting stronger, food crops failing, habitats becoming unlivable, millions are starving. And if it goes on like this, billions of people will be on the move to find somewhere they can survive. And the fossil fuel companies are making more than God. And we're about to freeze to death. It doesn't sound like a planet run for the benefit of the 8 billion people that call it their home. It's more run for the few billionaires who call Monaco their home. Still, mustn't grumble. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nica@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. And you know what? Never mind about the energy price. There's something much more serious than that that's gone up in price. You're not going to like it. I'll get to that next.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
This is absolute tosh.
Words, more words.
Brenda emails, I'm just about to go to bed, and then I hear the Blunder Trust saying that is a disgrace.
That is a disgrace.
Are you deliberately trying to prolong my daily nightmares into my night? I can't stand it, says Brenda. Calm down, dear, it might never Oh no, that's right, it already has. 0345 6060 973. Let's have... wait a minute, who's been waiting the longest? Be totally fair about this. It looks like Tamworth. Hello, David.
Hi, Nick, you all right?
Good, thanks.
You were right about comedy double acts on television. Awful. What? And I have to turn the telly off if they come on.
Like who?
Well, Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah.
It's the same rubbish every time. The straight man's, I'm going to sing a song, you know, I've always wanted to sing this song and all this rubbish with my special guest star. And then David Morecambe comes up behind him, you know, opens the curtains and spoils it. It's the same with Cannon and Bull. And 84 Little and Large, all the comedy double acts. And to me, they all seem the same. It's the same sort of script.
Well, yeah, there's two different types of comedy. There's a comedy of surprise, and then there's the comedy of repetition, and both are valid, and both can be funny. But I think that those comedy acts that you talked about, they had their time. It's just that some comedy is of its time and others are go past the time in which they came out. And Laurel and Hardy is timeless, in my opinion.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I don't know if you've ever seen because a lot of people don't know the names of the Laurel and Hardy sort of programmes, but I don't know if you've ever seen Twice 2.
Twice 2?
Yes, and it's a Laurel and Hardy film, if you like, because they're all sort of classed as films, even if they were half an hour or 20 minutes or an hour.
They were films.
That's what I'm trying to say. They weren't, because obviously television wasn't even invented when a lot of stuff was recorded. But yeah, Twice 2 is one of the funniest I've ever seen. Well, it's one of my favourites visually because they marry each other's sister.
Right.
So you have the fat one marries the slim one, if you like, but he's dressed as a woman, and visually it's fantastic, mate.
Well, I will. It rings bells. I most certainly have seen it before. I've seen them all, but I will go and recheck it. Thanks a lot, David. 0345 6060 973. Dominic says, your disdain for the politicians is misplaced. The simple fact is you deserve what you vote for, and alas, the majority of people in the UK are not educated to vote correctly. Correctly. There is only one vote, and that is to protect our environment, says Dominic. Well, there's some justification to that thought. All of the problems that we're experiencing at the moment will be as nothing if the climate does change, as most experts are predicting. In fact, it seems to be getting worse as at this moment. All the things that they said were going to happen in the future seem to be happening right now. And just enough people are still trying to convince everybody else that it's not actually occurring. I mean, we've got that melting candle, Lord Frost. He's telling us that there is no climate emergency. I don't know where he gets his news. There is no climate emergency, says climate expert Lord Frost. What does he know? And you have to wonder why he's saying that. Why do people like him keep coming out with stuff like that? Odd. Curious. Peter says, I don't think the Red Wall needs to worry about Labour taking Brexit away. I really don't think they can just stroll back into Brussels and ask for our old office back. I'm sure the UK has delighted the EU enough already, yeah. If I were them, I wouldn't want us back. And Isabel says, I wonder what the Lizzie and Donny Trumpsy show will be like. Well, the whole world has gone crazy, says Isabel. Well, she's got that right. 0345 6060 973. Edinburgh. Ooh, Edinburgh. Marion.
Oh, hi, Nick.
I caught you mid-expectoration.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. It's an absolute kaleidoscope of crazy being on hold, listening to people and trying to remember what I phoned.
Isn't it? Got to make notes. Got to make notes.
Well, I usually do, but I stopped doing that. I was running out of paper. Right, I'll get to the chase. Mm-hmm. You used a phrase earlier. You said rubbish collection. I think it was very specifically to do with our government and the shower that they are. However, I'm in Edinburgh and we have an issue with rubbish collection.
I know.
I don't know if this has been on... You do? No? Oh, good. Right. So I think they've been on strike for at least a week. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm really not sure. It's also the festival. I'm sure you're familiar with this. You know.
Oh, yes.
So, so the rubbish...
it's piling up.
In the festival.
It's here, there, and everywhere, baby.
Yeah. So I was walking... I've kind of tried to see shows that aren't right in the middle of it. But I went in the other day to see a show in the middle, and I was thinking it's like a stark kind of representation of the mess of the whole country. And I'm tuned into LBC all the time, and I'm just hearing people putting, poop into the seas. And I'm walking around, and there's rubbish everywhere. And I know it's not all completely connected, but
kind of.
You know, there's, yeah, kind of, yeah, you know. Where's it?
There's money for corporations, but not for individuals. And that seems to be, that sort of just sums it up. If you are a major international corporation and you need a tax cut, or you need you need a tax break, or you need us to build a manufacturing base for you, or you need us to build a factory, or you want some sort of handout, then that's fine. That's good governance. That's fiscal prudence, that is. But if you personally, Marion, need some money to get by, well, that's socialism, and we can't have that.
Oh, no, that's a dirty word, apparently, although people mostly don't understand what it means. But I just thought a visual. Sorry, I've been at the festival a bit, got a bit arty. I was thinking this is a visual representation of the state of the nation.
Up
like
to our knees in rubbish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But I think I'm not calling for this, but I think you see the strikes. Obviously, the binman here and the RMT. We know about all these things. There is an unrest. And there's a reason for the unrest, and we know what the reason is. So,
well, I don't detect that. I think there's a certain resignation. I think that if the price of gas and electricity was not going to reach, as it's now being described, as £7,000 odd a year. If it was just still like 2,000, 3,000, maybe 4,000, there would be a shrug of the shoulders and a certain resignation, and we'd trudge back to work and we'd just put up with it, and we wouldn't make much of a fuss because that's the British way. But because it's actually going to be an amount that people literally cannot afford, it's not that they can cut back on other things. People will literally not have the money to be able to pay it. And the government seems disinclined to actually help us out because, we're not billionaires. So helping out people who aren't billionaires is like smacks of Marxism, and they don't want that. Then I think that it will go past the point at which people are willing to put up. But then what happens? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I guess the Conservative government will rue the day that Theresa May made Boris Johnson, the mayor of London at the time, sell his Waffen Squirter 9000. All right, thanks a lot, Marion. 0345 6060 973. I bet they'll try to repurchase those water cannon. People will be getting hosed off the streets pretty soon, I betcha. 0345 6060 973. Let's have Staffordshire. Rich. Yes, Rich. Too late. Aaron in Perth.
Hi.
Yes, Aaron.
Hi. I'm a Conservative voter, but I really do mourn the collapse of the Labour Party because the balance in the political system is completely gone.
That makes little sense. You're a Conservative voter, but you're concerned about the collapse of the competition.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd be delighted.
You would think that, but you can't. There's a balance. Like, there's a balance in politics, and when there isn't a balance...
There is no balance in our politics. One party gets to rule them all. You get 100% of the power with only 43% of the vote.
Yeah, but at that time, now the Labour Party's got such a low chance of winning the next time that they I don't know how to put it. They can push the envelope further than I personally would like.
Well, why are you a Conservative voter then?
Well, that's a good question.
Well, why are you? What's the answer?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, just kind of always been kind of... I don't know. In the beginning, yeah, but now I don't... Because I like them better than the Labour Party.
But what is it you like about them? What's the answer to the question? Why do you vote Conservative?
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
They're the lesser of two evils.
But why do you say that?
What? That's a good question.
Are you kidding me? You don't think about it at all? You just go and vote for a party and you don't even think about why you're doing it?
No. You go and you vote for a party, but you don't. You vote for a party because you think they're the best party.
Yeah, but
you don't
best
vote
in
for
what
them
way?
You don't think they're... Well, because you like most of their policies better
Like
than
what?
the
Well,
other parties.
name one. What policies?
I live in Scotland, and I'm a unionist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the main ones.
Right. And do you think that under the Boris Johnson leadership that Scotland is more or less likely to remain part of the United Kingdom?
Less, probably.
Right. So how's voting Conservative working out for you?
Not well, but that's. But what I'm saying is,
who are you going to vote for next time?
Well, not the SNP. So I'm stuck.
Who are you going to vote for next time?
Probably Conservative again.
Okay. Good decision there, Aaron. As long as you've thought it through. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, never mind about all that. There's something serious I have to discuss with you, and I'll come back to that in just a moment. But you're not going to like it. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals!
I tell you what, you can just save time now and panic. Never mind about panicking later. Panic now. You think things are bad. What is that noise? Oh my God, is that people in the corridor? I can hear them like the door's open. You wouldn't believe how thick our door is. It's like about a foot thick. It's the kind of door that you see on films that would be keeping the treasures in Jodrell Bank, in the Bank of England safe. I mean, it is so thick. It's the heaviest door in the whole wide world, but you can hear noise through it like it's open. That's weird. It's bizarre. Where was I? You think things are bad, what with the price of petrol and the price of gas and the price of electricity, but you haven't heard the worst of it yet. Because, get ready, you're not going to like it. The price of chips is set to double. Chips. The cost of cod has gone up by 75%. 75%. That's almost 3/4, maths fans. Farmers said that due to a lack of moisture in the soil, potatoes, which are about 80% water, will be in shorter supply, and that this is a potato crisis, which has seen crops ravaged by heat waves and has led to prices rising. Which is typical of lefty activist farmers blaming the price hikes on global warming when everyone knows it's the French what done it. The Daily Mail reports that chip experts say that wholesale prices are on the rise as a result, leading to increased prices passed on to consumers. That's you in restaurants, takeaways and supermarkets. You heard that right. Chip experts. They probably did degrees in side dishes. Triple-cooked chip experts say that what with the rising prices of oil and energy, this could see a portion of chip shop chips double in cost. Twice as much. That is what chip experts say. If chip shops wanted to keep the same profit margins, they'll have to charge twice as much. The alternative is them making a loss. Say chip experts. And I say, make a loss. Who's with me? It's the patriotic thing to do. We're a low-wage slave economy, as promised by the dear leader.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
We can't afford twice as expensive chips. A food wholesaler said the current situation is a crisis for our potato industry, and it's far from over. He said we're expecting a significant increase in potato prices again next year. if we experience similar hot weather next year too, we will have big problems as they are already playing catch-up from this year. We ain't got enough potatoes. And the potatoes we do get can't be stored, he said, because they don't have as much moisture from the ground, so they rot quicker. And potatoes are unlikely to be the only food affected by the heat wave. Many vegetable prices will shoot up too. But that's okay, because we don't like vegetables.
Disgusting.
Apart from peas. I mean, as long as peas are unaffected, then we'll be fine. In other news, the price of peas is about to shoot up too. There's been a 15% drop in the volume of British peas harvested and a 30% drop in Spanish peas. In Spain, of course, they call them peas. But that's what you get when you ravage the land and the seas without thought for the things that sustain it. But you know what? Even saying the word sustain invites ridicule from the knuckle-dragging mouth breathers.
I'm a nutcase.
You'd have to say we're living a life out of balance. I mean, the human race is a giant waste-producing pooping machine. We eat and we poop and we throw stuff away. And we eat and we poop and we throw stuff away. And we do that until we're sitting on a vast mountain of poop and waste and nothing to eat anymore. What a way to run a planet, eh?
Dreadful.
And there was a woman who said pretty much the same thing this week. Climate change is fueling the cost of living crunch, sweeping the globe, according to one of the world's leading central bankers. Disasters such as droughts and famine can drive up prices, said the president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde. Droughts can lead to shortages of everything from grain to beef, pushing up prices as supply fails to keep up with demand, she said. Speaking to a French magazine, Christine Lagarde said, if more and more climate disasters, droughts and famines occur throughout the world, there will be repercussions on prices, on insurance premiums and on the financial sector. But I'm sure that won't happen because that melting candle, David Frost, Lord Frost, says there's nothing to worry about.
Oh, no.
There's no climate emergency, he said. Why would a person say that? Curious. I'm just curious. 0345 6060 973. I told you wouldn't like it. Price of chips is about to double. Good grief. This tweet says the easiest renationalisation would be the railways. All they need to do is not renew the franchise. It wouldn't cost a penny. Yeah, let's get it done. It doesn't work to give a company a monopoly. How could it ever work? You have no choice. If you want to go from here to there, you've got one choice, right, actually two choices on the rail. You can take the only railway company that does that journey, or you don't get to go on the train at all. Those are your choices. Monopolies do not work for the benefit of the customer. Of course they blooming well don't. They work for the benefit of the corporation that is running the monopoly. It's almost as though the Conservative Party is more concerned about the health and welfare of corporations than they are individuals. Blimey, that clock's just stopped. That was weird. You know when you look at a clock and it's got a second hand, and you look at it and you think, oh, the second hand's not working, and then it moves. Is it just me? It seems to be still for the longest time, and then it moves. It seems to be still for much longer than a second. You know is that just me? It can't be. Look at a clock with a second right now, and you wait for it to move, and you think, oh, it hasn't moved already. And then it moves. You think, oh, that was a fraction of a second I was just looking at it for, but it seemed like 3 seconds went by before that thing moved. Well, I was just staring at the clock as I was yakking on just now, and it was actually... it didn't move at all for like 5 seconds. And I thought, have I lost my mind? Or is this clock stopped? And then it almost as though it picked up its petticoats and hurtled forwards and corrected itself. That clock needs correcting. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Hey, by the way, I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while laughing our faces off.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now, if you want us to have a bash at your issue, you must send it to the following address: nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com. And Carol and I will read it and try to solve your problem in the best way that we can. Prepare to be satisfied. That's all I'm saying. Ask for the podcast by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol?
Yeah.
I think you'll be amused. I know we are when we do it. We laugh a lot. It's probably my favourite hour of the week when we do that podcast. And there's over 100 up there for you, for your amusement. I mean, we've done absolutely loads without killing each other yet. Remarkable. Ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? It's on Global Player. Everything's on Global Player. Enfield, Arula.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Arula.
Hi. Do you know what? I'd love to do one of those with you, one of those podcasts with you. I mean, it'd be hilarious. I mean, if you think you're laughing with Carol, God, we'd have a well of a time.
Well, I'll put it on my to-do list, Arula.
Yes, please. Put it on your to-do list. Okay, so you were saying about Lauren and Hardy being funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Can't agree with you there. They always made me feel claustrophobic.
How do you mean?
Well, because you always knew what was going to happen. Something was going to go wrong.
Yeah.
They were going to, fall out of something or whatever.
Their hats would fall off and they'd pick up the wrong hat every single time. And it was always funny.
Do you know the one that sticks in my mind is the one with the piano? Do you remember the one with the piano?
The music box is what it's called. Yeah.
Is that what it was called? When they would try to bring it down, and in the end there was like some sort of sliding road that they could have brought it down. And it makes you feel claustrophobic.
I don't know why it would make you feel claustrophobic. Mate, are you sure you're using the right term there?
Maybe not, but that's how I felt. I've seen three of the best doctors in the East, I tell you. Marx Brothers, they've got to be the top. I mean, they've got to be the best comedians ever. Their humour was amazing,
Yeah, but, their films, they lasted too long. There was too much padding in their films. They could have cut at least 20 minutes off every single film they did.
Oh my God, no, I'm sorry. Mind you, I can't say all of the Marx Brother films. There's like 5 or 6 of them that were like the top, that were
5
amazing.
5 or 6? Did they even make that many?
Well, of course, yeah, they made more than that.
Well, I don't know, did they?
But yeah, they made quite a few, but they weren't all they weren't all that good. There was only like 5 or 6 that were like the top.
Yeah, I'm not sure they did 5 or 6. I'll look that up, but I'll check it later.
No, 5 or 6 were the best. I mean,
right.
5 or 6 were the best.
I'm not sure they even made 5 or 6, but
I'll check.
I'll check that later, Arula. But leave it with me, and I'll have a full report on your desk first thing in the morning. Well, first thing on Monday morning, maybe Tuesday morning, first thing. Like sort of mid-morning on Wednesday? How does Thursday afternoon sound? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Hang about, Nick. Listen. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
Joe texts, not Joe Tex. Joe texts. We are living through the end days of a British Empire way of thinking, in which the British establishment has begun to turn the final days of its dark imperial rule on its own people. The positive side is that however long it takes, this will end, and we shall then get a government that cares for its people, even if we are poorer as a result of what is happening today, says Joe. If they keep acting like a smash and grab raid, then there ain't going to be nothing left for whoever takes over afterwards. I mean, what have they got left to sell? There's nothing that you would think of as being British that's actually British anymore. Hey, somebody bought me some sandwich spread. Talk about British. Sandwich spread is British, isn't it? I think it's British. British-ish. And it's exactly like it. I remember it from my childhood. Somebody sent it me for my birthday. They sent all sorts of things. Not that one person, but, people, they beat the post office strike just in time. Just got it under the wire. So I did mention it yesterday. I guess it's a little bit late now. But I do appreciate all the things that you send.
Thank you.
And if you didn't send me anything, well, I appreciate that too.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for not sending anything. Jean texts, if Priti Patel gets her finger out, she can load up a dozen planes for Rwanda while the barristers are on strike. Yeah. While the barristers are on strike. The barristers. This is, of course, perfectly normal for a well-run country. Gainsborough. Jill.
Hiya. I'm first-time caller.
Hello, Jill. You're nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. Would it help if I said, get on with it?
Yes. My point is, all these electric cars,
Yeah.
how are people going to afford to charge them all?
Well, good point. It will still probably be less expensive than petrol.
Maybe.
But people still won't be able to charge them all. No. But if you can't afford electricity, then you won't be able to afford petrol. So there's that. Are you still there? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Have you got an electric car?
No, I haven't. But it was just a thought running through my head.
Right. Well, it's better let those thoughts run out, Jill. Don't keep them inside. Don't keep them bottled up. Just let it out.
Yeah, I'll let it out.
Okay, good work, Jill. Release the pressure of what's in your mind every now and again. Just let it out. 0345 6060 973. Jan texts, you are outlining the massive profits associated with the energy industry, and we fools are pulling out all the stops to ensure they get even more, while scrambling around trying to figure out how to manage to stay alive until next April. You got to laugh, don't ya? Says Jan. Yeah, it's not just the energy companies, it's the blooming water companies as well. New targets to stop sewage being dumped in rivers and the sea will see people's water bills rise by £12 per year from 2025. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, can't the water companies just take that money out of the fund that they were going to award their executives and shareholders?
No.
No, that sounds like socialism to me, and anybody that suggests otherwise is on a trip to Rwanda. New plans from the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, require companies to invest £56 billion over the next 25 years to increase network capacity, treat sewage and reduce leaks, with some of that cost set to be passed on to us dopes that pay taxes. You know, just like you've paid for all of the cost that has been spent on improving the infrastructure since the Tories, under Margaret Thatcher, sold our water to monopolists. Does that sound like a good idea, by the way?
No.
Not really, no. We've paid for it, all of it. What little improvements they've made. We have personally paid for it, while the companies have used all the money they made from us, poor dopes, to reward themselves for excellence in providing something that we can't do without.
Oh, fabulous.
And we can't get anywhere else. I mean, the plans are expected to cost the public an average of £42 a year extra by 2050. Great. More money for something that we used to own and that was flogged off by Thatcher and the Tories, the grift that keeps on grifting. In recent weeks, of course, dozens of beaches in England and Wales have had pollution warnings issued after heavy rain caused sewage overflow to be released into rivers and the sea. It wasn't heavy rain that is responsible, it was the blooming companies responsible. Other countries have heavy rain. Other countries are not up to their eyeballs in hot sewage. Heavy rain. I mean, really. Oh, yeah, it's the rain. I mean, it doesn't rain anywhere else. Can you believe it? In recent weeks, dozens of beaches, pollution warnings. Other European countries don't have this problem. We have the worst, the dirtiest, the most dangerous water off our coasts and in our lakes and rivers than any other country in Europe. That's a fact. That smell, that's the sweet smell of sovereignty. Because we shall defecate on our beaches and we will defecate in our lakes and our rivers and we will never surrender to the tyranny of clean water because we're British and we like it this way. By the way, here's where we were in water quality standards in 2020. Now, keep in mind it's got much worse in Britain since 2020. But in 2020, this is a table of the water cleanliness from best to worst. Okay, best countries for water cleanliness where people bathe. You know, where children go to splash about. In Europe, from the best to the worst. This is 2 years ago, before it got much worse in this country. So this is a flattering picture compared to where we are now. So the best to the worst in Europe. Best, Austria, Croatia, Cyprus, Greece and Malta. Those countries all led the pack with 95% or more of their bathing sites qualifying as excellent. As in perfect. Austria, Croatia, Cyprus, Greece and Malta. They're first. Followed by Germany, Denmark, Spain, France, Portugal, Italy, Estonia, Bulgaria, Slovakia and Poland. And then, in last place, us. Last. In Austria, Croatia, Cyprus, Greece and Malta, they have near 100% of their bathing sites of excellent quality. 100%. In Austria, Croatia, Cyprus, Greece and Malta. Greece, 97% of their bathing sites, excellent quality water. Germany, 90%. Britain, 17. What? Not 70, 17%. In Greece, 97% of their bathing water is of excellent quality. In this country, 17%. And this, remember, was 2 years ago when the situation was better here than it is now. No other country in Europe comes even close to us. And that was 2 years ago, before this massive sewage dump that we've had there since then. But, you know, it's okay because the government's got a plan.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a plan. DEFRA, the Department for the Environment, has launched what it calls the largest infrastructure program in water company history to crack down on sewage spills and end pollution. You know, you'd have thought that at some point in the, let's say the last 12 years, for instance, they might have done something about it. But I suppose it's our fault for not making a stink about the stink. By 2035, water companies will have to improve all storm overflows discharging into or near every designated bathing water site and improve 75% of overflows discharging to high-priority nature sites, such as sites of special scientific interest. Doesn't that sound great?
No.
No, it sounds like something the government cooked up with the permission of the water monopolies. You know, the so-called regulator, Ofwat, which seems to exist for the benefit of the companies selling us the thing that we can't do without, rather than existing for the benefit of us poor dopes who actually pay for it. Even some Tories are saying that regulator isn't doing anything to stop these companies rewarding their own failures while doing nothing to stop the leaks. Why would they? When executive bonuses rely on pulling the maximum amount of profit, meaning the minimum amount of investment. You know, last year, annual bonuses of water bosses averaged £100,000 on top of their pay. The 22 water bosses paid themselves £24.8 million last year. That's over £2 million each. And when quizzed about this, an Ofwat spokesmodel said, over the last 20 years, we've imposed fines, penalties and secured spending commitments totalling over £339 million, specifically for failure on leakage. Wow, £339 million. That's a large sum. But it's not quite as big as the £57 billion that the water companies gave to themselves and their shareholders, since they were gifted the right to sell us a product that we can't do without. They were fined £339 million for creating the worst bathing waters in the whole of Europe, and they rewarded themselves 168 times that amount as a reward for good behaviour. Do you ever get the feeling you're being ripped off?
Yes.
But now the government is pretending to care all of a sudden. And it's been very clear that they must have a robust response and blah, blah, blah. And the government's given them till 2035 to clear up 75% of their mess, which means that the water industry can pollute at will for the next 13 years while cashing in like one-armed bandits. The Liberal Democrat environment spokesman Tim Farron said the government's plan is a licence to pump sewage onto our beaches and in our treasured rivers and lakes. By the time these flimsy targets come into effect, our beaches would have been pumped full of disgusting sewage, more otters will be poisoned, and our children will still be swimming in dangerous water. The kids. It's staggering, isn't it? He says by 2030 there'll still be 325,000 sewage dumps a year in our waterways. It is amazing. This is a cruel joke, said Tim Farron, out of the Lib Dems. The government's going to hike water bills to pay for cleaning up the mess made by water companies, the same companies who awarded their executives multi-million-pound bonuses this year and paid out over £1 billion to their shareholders. While they roll in cash, we swim in sewage. The whole thing stinks, he says. Yeah, well, that's right. And that could be the slogan of the next Tory party conference. We roll in cash, you swim in sewage. And you know what? If that actually was their slogan, they'd still get 43% of the vote.
Oh, fabulous.
What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
Johnny emails, many working class people voted for Bodger and for Brexit because they believed that they would be better off with a larger-than-life, privately educated, clownish-type figure running the country, rather than an old-school socialist renationalising everything. What they didn't seem to realise is that the clown was ready to sell them down a river.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Hard to believe they didn't understand that, because I believe that, because I've been told it 1,000 times at great volume, that they knew what they were voting for. Kennington. Hello, Andrew. Andrew.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Andrew.
Fantastic to speak to you. I was just thinking that from what you read out, all the corporations and so on, the profits they make, I was just thinking that the chief executives and the chairman, they must have children. And I'm just wondering to myself, what are they going to pass on as an inheritance, as a legacy to their children?
Money.
And does this mean a complete absence of feelings about what's going to happen? Because it seems like there's a collective immolation. It's like setting fire to yourself.
Right, it's like setting fire to your house because you're cold at that moment. No, it's actually like setting fire to somebody else's house, as far as they're concerned, because they aren't going to suffer from any of this. Short-term gain will always trump long-term benefits.
Yeah.
Short-termism is what will do for humankind, and it's because it's just a few people who are benefiting from the short-termism, and the rest of us will just let them do it.
But it's really quite shocking what you read out, the figures you read out, and there's like a sort of blankness, complete, amnesia about what's going on.
Right. Yeah, it's not. Well, it is amnesia. Bizarrely, we're amnesiac about what is happening at this minute. We forget things with every passing second. People are already saying, "Oh, well, Boris Johnson, why is he being pushed out? He didn't do anything wrong. For crying out loud, can you not remember last week?"
Yeah. But I think also, Nick, doesn't it seem like an addiction? You've done your training in industry and so on, and you've learned to go down certain roads and journeys, and once you've done that, it's very hard to change direction. You've taken on, you've absorbed the whole philosophy of what you're doing, and to change direction.
Well, you surround yourself with people who are all of the same mindset, so it normalizes the behaviour.
Yes, exactly. And that's where this complete blindness, but it does seem like those Buddhist monks who set fire to themselves.
Yeah, well, people have joined a cult. Yeah, people have joined a cult. They joined the cult of Boris Johnson, and they joined the cult of Brexit. People, it's almost as though they actually, they appreciate not having to think for themselves anymore. They just want somebody to come in and do all their thinking for them. It's more comforting to have your hair stroked, metaphorically, and be told that everything is going to be all right, even though it is evident that we're going in the opposite direction of all right. But you don't want to believe. It's like a religion. It is exactly like that. You cannot persuade people that they've made the wrong decision, even when the thing that they thought was going to be gold is actually on fire in their hands. You cannot tell them that they've made the wrong choice.
But Nick, you used this phrase before, people being hypnotized by shiny objects. And I worked as a freelance photographer for most best advertising agencies. They use the best psychologists, the best psychiatrists to put together campaigns.
Yeah.
You don't have a chance as a normal human being. It's so sophisticated what goes on. So you'll follow the path. You'll do what you're told.
Well, it's gone into a whole new realm with the invention of social media, because as we found from Brexit and the Trump campaign, they will, and this absolutely will happen next time around, because they have this huge weapon now that they can use on us, and they're not going to give it up because it's too powerful. They will flood people's social media sites with highly directed adverts telling them specifically about their interests and how they will be improved if they only vote a certain way. Yeah. It's actually quite frightening what's happening.
It is frightening.
And it's happening really, really quickly. And it seems like we're in some sort of dystopian novel or film. But it's not science fiction anymore. It's science fact.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fantastic what you do, just to keep on repeating what's going on, reminding people, so somehow it'll get through in the end.
I doubt it.
Let's just be positive, because it's repetition. It's using the same techniques in advertising, repetition to tell people what's happening, and the future. And sorry, one last frivolous thing.
Yeah.
Right? You've got Tallulah in the past who gave you your beautiful rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened to her? Because she is so authentic and passionate in the way she says it.
I don't know. I did.
In.
Well, not me. I did hear her on the air with somebody else, but not me. But she's like a character from an old show from another place. And none of those old characters are really appropriate for what I'm doing now. Even though Friday and Saturday is sort of pretty silly. Little bit silly. Yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Andrew. Cheer up, mate. It might never oh, no, that's right. It already has. Maggie texts, it's after midnight. A lot of us are trying to relax in bed while listening to you, so can you please stop with those stupid recorded obnoxious noises or I shall switch off.
No, 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 no.
No, Maggie. And furthermore... Can you believe that? Like, this is a request show. I tell you what, Maggie, is there anything else that you'd like me to do or not do to change this program to your specific requirements? Yeah, we're taking requests, Maggie. Why don't you ask us to just turn the volume of the station down so you can get off? Not get off. So you can go to sleep more easily. Or maybe we could just change the format after a certain period. You let us know when you're going to bed, and then we'll start playing some nice, relaxing classical music. You know, so you don't have to go to the trouble of actually changing the channel to Classic FM. We'll do that for you. We're here to help. I despair. I really do. I mean, how self-involved and self-obsessed can you possibly be that you think that you can just text a radio station and they'll change their format for you? Barcelona, David.
Hello, good evening.
Yes,
Pleasure
sir.
to talk to you.
David.
Oh, one thing, while I was waiting, I was listening about the percentage of bathing water. Do you know what Spain is? What percentage of cleanliness it is?
I think it's... I can't remember exactly.
It's on the second division. It was the second division.
80-something, near 90%, something like that.
Yeah, I think I heard something about something like 80%. But anyway, what I rang you about, of course, is a completely different subject. You were talking about that everybody's vote should count. Now, I always wonder, how does the Reform Party, the Green Party, even the Liberal Party, or Liberal, how do they ever get in when you just got two parties and nothing else?
Yeah.
Let's keep the national parties out, right? The Welsh Party, the Scottish, they're in a different identity. But in England, if I want to be Green, I want to be Reform, or even Liberal Democrats, although they're a little bit better, do have a bit more strength, but they won't get anywhere without having the PR system.
We must have it. We must have it.
Yeah, you've got to have it. Because, all right, I hate Brexit, okay? I'm European and blah, blah, blah. But the Reform Party does have a right to have representation in the Parliament. The Greens should have more representation in the Parliament. And then you have, of course, the Conservatives will always be the biggest party.
No.
Because unfortunately, the Labour Party are two parties in one. You've got the Bill of Rights on one side,
right,
and you've got the militants on the other side.
Right.
How will they ever get on?
Well, they won't. So what needs to happen in this country is what happens in most other, and it's actually most other well-run countries. A rainbow coalition of interested parties. Other countries do not have the kind of chaos that we have in this country, where one party on a minority of the vote gets 100% of the power. They keep telling us over and over again that we must not have a coalition of chaos. But it's not a coalition that will be chaotic. It's allowing this bloke...
Yeah. Wait a minute.
100% of the power. About to be changed to this person.
We have never had it so good.
She's going to have 100% of the power in this country. And everybody who voted for any other party gets nothing at all. That is a recipe for chaos. In fact...
That is a disgrace.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I agree with Liz Truss.
What?
And that's it. Thanks so much for your calls and the boatloads of texts and emails that I'm just like 14 pages of closely typed. I didn't get to you. Better luck next time. I'm going to be back with my abnormal normal show tonight at 10 o'clock. Richard Spur is here at 4 o'clock. But first, it's Clyde Ball first. 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 It's Clyde Ball first.